Hello, 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 folks. It's me, Kerbanaut here, and today we're going to be doing another kind of Moon Base episode. So last time I said we would be building the base on Kerbin to take a look at kind of what it looks like and how it fits together, and kind of root out any major flaws before we send it up to the moon, just so that if we don't kind of get to the moon and find out there's this big, massive design flaw that we didn't anticipate. So yeah, this is a really good way to do things. You can stick things onto the surface of the moon, all good and well, but it always helps to kind of put them on Kerbin first. So what are we doing here? Well, this is the kind of the hub, if you remember from last time. This is the hub of the moon base, and I get it down there and I deploy the landing legs, but we have some weird issues with the deploying of the landing legs. Anyway, what I do is I go in and I just I go in and undock the rover, and then I take the rover away. So what I do is I then send in the three truss, and I send that in to try and dock. Now I end up having a lot of problems here because what I am attempting to do is I'm trying to on the wheels come in and dock, but the problem with this is the standardized height for docking ports is by the legs, and once it's on the legs it's not movable, and so you have to be able to dock without moving, and that's extremely hard. So this was me just kind of figuring out how hard it really was going to be to dock these things on the way I had anticipated I would be able to do it. And as you can see, I'm having a lot of trouble with it. I'm playing around with landing legs here, just putting them in and out and in and out, and it's not working at all here. So I take that down, hoping that I might be able to dock it together on the ground at a standardized height of just on the ground. That doesn't work, of course, so I end up just taking everything away except the one that has already got the rover on it, and then what I do is I bring in another 3 truss and I drive that over, because I know that these two are going to be on the same height because they're both the same thing, they both have these rovers. I dock them and that docks really easily. So I just test the landing legs, that works fine, the lights work fine, looks lovely, you can see the moon and all that jazz. We take the landing legs back up and we begin docking. So this is how I'm going to end up docking it. I'm going to dock most of the things together by keeping it on the rover. And I just flip that weirdly, and I just, for the heck of it, just drive that off the edge. Anyway, so this is how we're going to be docking things. We're going to stick them on the rovers, and it's going to dock with the rovers attached, and then it's going to deploy the landing legs. I could keep the rovers on, but in all fairness, it doesn't look as nice, and it's just nicer to be able to dock things and then have landing legs. So yeah, I'm just going to skip past most of this. You can just see it one kind of module at a time. So that's just got all the 3 trusses down, the hub down, and this again is another point which I come across some difficulties. I'm trying to dock on this power unit thing, the battery thing, and it takes a while, and this one takes a while as well. And I found that it's really hard to dock sideways when your wheels are not. So I've switched it around on this one, and it docks really easily when I switch that around, so that the docking port is in the direction of the wheels. So yeah, what you saw me doing right there was just getting rid of some rovers, because at this point the frame rate is starting to drop. I anticipated that it would drop, but to kind of help keep the frame rates at a reasonable pace, I just take away the rovers when I don't need them. So on the 3 trusses that have all their docking ports taken, I take out the rover and I just delete that. I don't drive it away or anything. I just delete that because I'm not too worried about realism. I'm just kind of worried about actually getting the thing made and done, because that is quite important. So what you're seeing this here is all the solar trusses I'm putting up. So these are all the things that are going to have the solar panels on them, and I'm just docking them in, getting them here. And at this point, yeah, the frame rate is quite really dropping drastically, but it's okay, and you don't notice that as much because I've sped this up. And I lose the footage at some point along here, so yeah, we get that on, it's all good and well, and we're about to go get the next one. I put the graphics down because it was thing, and Fraps goes mental and my game crashes. Anyway, I go back, restart Fraps, and yeah. At this point, I have already put in the rest of the solar panels, but you saw me put in the others, so you know how that's done. Anyway, so this is the habitation module I'm docking together, and you can see it's a bit dodgy because this is, of course, not a standardized height I'm working with, and this is one of the problems that comes from not working with the standardized height. So what I end up doing is I just drag that rover away, bashing it into the moon base accidentally, and I just slide that forward and dock it, and it seems to work really well. When I take out that rover, it's the right height and everything, and so I do the exact same thing with the other one as well. I just kind of dock that in there, take out the bottom rover, and with a wee bit of love, tender loving care and manipulation of the landing legs, it docks rather nicely and snugly, and that gets in there. And then what we have to do is, of course, put down the landing legs on that module and take out the rovers again. But with the habitation module, we can take out all the rovers because they're bringing it higher, whereas we want the habitation modules to be lower. Okay, so at this point, we're just putting in these end battery modules, because if you saw my plan last episode, I'll show it again later on. If you saw my plan, we have these battery modules at the end of the strips of solar panels so that we can carry more electricity. So we're docking those on at the moment. So we're coming along. This is the second last one before our center of our moon base is complete. It's looking very lovely right here, big. So here we go. I thought I'd show this whole thing and give you a little taster of what my actual frame rate was like. So this is sped up. This is running at what, maybe 500, 700 times speed. Well, 700 times, no, 700%. So that's 7 times speed. And this right here is my actual frame rate. This is what I was working with when I was building this. So you can see that we do have extreme frame rate drops around here. It's not too bad when you're like out with the 200 meter mark. For some reason the 200 meter mark seems to be a physics load distance here, so when I get within 200 meters it loads the physics and then my frame rate drops to about potato, and yeah, it's not good, but I don't know whether that helps the physics to dock, if it makes it easier to dock or not. I'm not sure. Maybe with a lot much lag it makes it easier to dock. I'm not sure, but I don't seem to be having too many problems, and as long as I'm not having too many problems on a flat surface on Kerbin, I shouldn't have too many problems on the moon. Now, the moon, obviously the lunar surface is going to have a lot of irregularities, yes. No, it's going to have a lot of bumps and all that stuff, so it's going to be not flat in any meaning of the word. However, it will be a lower gravity, so I'm not sure if that's going to help in any way, but we'll see when we get there. But as long as it's working relatively okay in this situation, it should be fine. So I'm just taking out all the solar panels here. Remember, this of course is sped up drastically, so you do have to remember that. So yes, we've got a lovely view here of the solar panels. It's looking very lovely, playing around with some time warp here and looking lovely. I'm trying to get to a kind of a sunrise so I can get a nice screenshot here, but when you're at the KSC, if you wanted a nice screenshot, it's not as good as I would have hoped. I would like to get a screenshot either out in open or on the moon, but obviously I can't do that until later. So for right now, this is the best I'm getting. However, it still looks absolutely brilliant. I have to admit, this is really looking the part. I did not expect the solar panels to be as large as they were. However, that's fine. The crossover doesn't do much. Okay, so I'll have a look at what we need to fix, because that was all a test. That was to see what we need to do. So this is one of the things I fixed initially, but then decided to go back to because I figured the aesthetics of it were probably more important. And although this end product here that you can see looks fairly okay, It's not brilliant when you put it in conjunction with everything else that's going to be put in the space. So what am I doing here? Let's see. What am I doing? Aha. Ah, yes. Oh, the solar panels. Yes, I love these solar panels. I think Jeb just had a field trip over there. He must have just pressed some magic button called blow up the solar panels or something. But for some reason, the solar panels decided to freak out and blow everything up to Kingdom Come. However, for some reason, they're back on when I go back to it later. Anyway, right, okay, so this is the 3 truss here. And what I'm doing is I'm going to take that top off and change the top for something else. I think I end up putting a probe core on there and structural elements. So I'm just looking at this right now, looking at this nose cone, trying to figure out something, and then I start realizing just little things that I haven't noticed before, like the circles aren't circles; they're actually, polygons and all that. It's things that I didn't really notice before. But yeah, so I kind of bring the complexity of these models down so that, I mean, it's only a wee bit, it's a very, very small amount, but these kind of little finicky things, the ones with the lots of the triangular bits, I don't know, the parts that are more complex really produce the most lag, as you can imagine. So I don't do anything to the solar truss, and I don't do anything to the hub, mainly because they are pretty simple as they are. I designed them quite simple initially, and I don't think there's much I can improve on them without really severely taking away from the whole kind of look and aesthetic of it. So I decided that I'm going to build the sky crane, and I come across a strange problem. Some of the propulsion things are messed up. The textures in the thing over on the left hand side are either missing or messed up completely, and that proves to be a problem. However, I kind of do a wee bit of guesswork and get to the models I want eventually. So you can see here, I'm using 2 kind of main engines and then 2 nuclear powered engines because I want that efficiency, but I also want to be able to have it in a little bit extra thrust if I need it. So that's why I'm using the 2 main engines as well as the nuclear ones, because I don't think the nuclear ones are going to be able to slow me down enough in time. So that's my sky crane right there. I just save that as a sub-assembly so I can stick it on the rest of my ships, and then I get to design the lovely lifter. Now, I give it a main lifting stage and a stage that is designed to take it to the moon, although I doubt that it's going to take it all the way to the moon. I haven't tested it. I probably will have to test that a wee bit. If it doesn't work, I'll have to redesign the lifter a wee bit. Although I've designed the lifter as a very heavy lifter, and as such, I think it will be able to pretty much lift anything to orbit. Well, I mean, within reason, obviously. But most of my ships are quite light, so it'll be able. I think the lifter itself will be able to take the things to the moon if that upper stage doesn't do the job. But I have faith that it will work. So there we go. I save it as a ship, and I also save it as a sub-assembly. So we stick our sub-assemblies on, we do some fixing of the staging, and we just do that to every module we have. And that is that. We do that. We stick on the stuff. Now, most of these things I'm launching upside down, I must admit, and that's just because I don't have any attachment point on the rover to kind of to attach to the sky crane. Plus, if I attached it to the rover, it would be landing the wrong way, and it's a whole bunch of weird things going on. But anyway, that is that, and we have pretty much finished. So that is the final product we have after today's work. We have our Mun Base layout, we have all our stuff going there. The solar panels seemingly have regenerated. I think Jeb must have felt a wee bit guilty about storing those, so he put them back or something. I don't know how this works. Jeb is some weird temperamental guy, I don't know. But nonetheless, that has served its purpose. We have learned the flaws, we have fixed the flaws, and you can see here just before I do anything, I just change that back to what it was because I like it better. After looking at that, I figured, it'll look better. So what we do is we select the moon base and we just recover it. We take it back into KSC's loving, tender arms. And that really is all from me this episode. I guess next episode what we'll do is we will have a look at the moon and we will begin launching things up into the moon, and we can actually get a start on the actual building of our moon base on its location where it's supposed to be. But until then, I will talk to you later, probably. Have a lovely day, guys. See you later.